Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Well, everybody, welcome back. It is Sunday Night Live. It is the zoo, and here we are. Daylight savings. Did someone lose an hour somewhere? I think I did. Anyways, let's kick the show off. It is the zoo. If you have something to say, there's a super chat button somewhere on this page. Hit that, and we'll get your comments right up on the screen. I'll tell you what, we're going to start this week with Chin Music. He does a $52.23 super chat donation. And when that happens, by golly, I pull out the bottle of scotch. Got a Glenlivet 15-year right here. And we'll start with that. Yeah, any super chat, $50 or more, buys me a scotch. Make sure I stay medicated, lubricated, and going off on everything. So we'll start off the show with that. I appreciate it. Mr. Chin. We'll set that off to the side. Looks like we got plenty of go juice tonight. The bottle's still doing really well. Semper Fi to all. Thank you, Chin Music, for the great support. And here we go. Down the hatch. Smooth right there. And I'll chase that with a Kraken fortified coffee. I'll tell you what, from the Cafefe Company, who are an unpaid sponsor of the show. They gave me that cup of coffee, so I'm going to give them some credit. We'll talk more about them later. Folks, I want to support patriotism, support hardworking people, hardworking Americans, free Americans. We are in big trouble in this country, and we're going to talk about it. Let's start with, Chin Music's comments. He's got some up here. Uman has been setting them off to the side. And we're going to start here. It starts with, let's go, Brandon. That would be Joe Biden. Herrera has forced a runoff with the Rhino Gonzalez. This is an interstate or intrastate Senate runoff in Texas. And this is what Chin Music is saying. There's a runoff between Herrera and Gonzalez, and I got off my ass and had a part in it, and I'm damn proud that I worked the soil I was granted. Now the bad, if I'm Locke Riley's dad, no way in hell I would avoid prison. All the Democrats' strategy isn't so much about illegal voting as it is about having them counted in the census. That's how seats, that is how House of Representative seats, that is how assembly seats at the state level are allocated. They want both, but getting them counted is paramount. They need to be deported, but how do you get the ants away from this picnic? Like you not promoting violence. But as a pragmatist, I don't see a peaceful resolution, especially as these criminal acts multiply. There will be no peaceful resolution to this. Everyone, Chin Music alike, there will be no peaceful resolution. This is a fight we are all in for now, period. We are in civil war now. And I think I've heard enough other people say it. And folks, these aren't patriots. These aren't militia types. These aren't veterans wearing their camouflage, standing and going, we're in a civil war. No, we're talking about people who work in the investment world, the banking world. We are in World War III, folks. It is a religious war. It's a secular war. It's a race war. It's World War III, and it's a civil war. It's unbelievable, folks. It truly is. Now, let us understand, and thank you, Chin Music, for opening this one up. I say the Civil War is coming. There will not be a peaceful resolution to the illegals, to the open border. There's not going to be a peaceful resolution to the murder and crimes being committed by race baiters, by LGBTQ crowd, by BLM. There's not going to be peace with any of these people. There can't be, folks. And I'm going to give you at the very top. Now, if you want to find out what the people will be fighting for down below on the streets, listen to what is being fought for at the top. The White House dropped the F-bomb on Republicans during the State of the Union, right? They hate us. They hate Trump, and we're going to talk more about their hatred for Trump because it is important, because you are tied to it. You and I tied to it, right? So they want to complain. The hypocrite Biden complains, folks, because what did he see? He saw a profane Trump banner. No, I don't think he saw a profane Trump banner. You know what I think he saw? An anti-Biden banner. And then also Biden got the middle finger. He got the bird from a 6-year-old child. I think that's fabulous. 6-year-old children typically don't know what politics is about or anything like that, unless they're sitting around at the table eating some scrambled eggs and they look over at dad and dad says, damn it, this fucker, right, lost my job because of Bidenomics and the open border and jobs being shipped out of the country. Then a 6-year-old might feel threatened by Biden and liberal retardation. But it's incredible, folks. Here we are. I'm not promoting violence. I'm not glamorizing it. I'm not calling for it, but it's coming. That's why I say you need to have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. And have your plan, folks. It is going to become a critical item. Critical indeed. So, yep. Now, the other part of Chin Music's thing is he got off his ass. He got into state politics down there. He's also gotten into national or federal politics by going and seeing his congressional representative for Washington, D.C. But at the state level, same story. Same story. In fact, I have one, some political, shall we say, well, he's a politician, sending me emails all the time, telling me he's listening. I'm like, I don't know if you're fucking listening or not. But we're going to find out. And it's not just listening, it's obeying. Obedience. You, me, us. Man down there at the bottom of my screen. We are not obliged to be obedient to the government. The government is obliged to be obedient to us. The Constitution authorizes it, and they swear allegiance and obedience through their oath to the Constitution. And the Constitution says they are to protect us and our rights. I'm not seeing a whole lot of love for that. I'm not seeing it at all. All right, folks, it is Sunday Night Live. It is go time. This is your show. We've got a super chat button up there. We've got CashApp down below. We've got PayPal down below. And we have Venmo down below as ways to get your questions onto the screen. Super chat donations, guys, is what pays for the Prepared Mind channel. It does. YouTube doesn't want to pay. They'll put commercials on everybody's video. They're not canceling videos anymore because of misinformation, folks, or dangerous conspiracy theories. They may remove a video, but they're not going to remove channels because they want all the money they can get and then say, we're not giving it to you, John, or you, Mr. Uman. We're not going to give it to you, Doug, John, Fred, Mark. Nope. Nobody gets money anymore. Just YouTube. Here we go. Here we go. Now, I talked about World War III, and we're not going to have a peaceful revolution to anything that's going on. And I did not mention I mentioned the illegals here, but I didn't mention the terrorists. but I'm going to do that right now. A pro-Hamas activist. You know what that means? A pro-Hamas activist is a terrorist who is not killing anyone yet. But what this person did was they destroyed a 100-year-old painting and by putting paint on it and then slashing it with a knife or some kind of object, destroying this portrait. Now, it was a 100-year-old portrait of Arthur Balfour. Who knows who Arthur Balfour is? Right? He's the one, folks. He served as the United Kingdom's foreign secretary at the beginning of the 20th century, the early 1900s. And he created what's known as the Balfour Declaration. And it was a statement that the British government had that said they support the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. And by the way, as I was shown, the Palestinian flag from the 1920s had the Star of David in it. Anyways, the document, the Balfour document, laid the groundwork for the founding of Israel as a secular, not religious, but a secular nation. And it's a big, it's a big deal. So this terrorist saw this painting of Arthur Balfour, who wrote this declaration that helped establish Israel. So he decided to destroy it. This is what these people think, folks. World War III, race war, religious war, secular war, they don't care. They hate the Israelis. They hate the Jews. And it's incredible to me. It's incredible to me. Now, where do we go with this, right? Where do we go with this? They want to destroy Israel. These people have no idea who they are. In fact, I don't know. We'll just keep hitting the topics, folks. They fucked everything up. Everyone wants to fight. Everyone wants everyone else to die. Everyone wants to pick sides. Everyone wants to say what you can or can't think. This is incredible to me, folks. In Canada, Justin Turdhole, Justin Fidel Castro's son, Justin Turdhole, said that, well, they want to imprison anyone who might commit a hate crime now. Canada wants to throw people in prison for life if the government thinks you might commit a hate crime. What is a hate crime? Does anyone know what a hate crime really is? Well, a hate crime is a crime where it's perceived that the perpetrator is using, well, gender identity or race or anything, right? If they use anything as justification for their violence, it's hate. I mean, what crime is allowed that doesn't have any of those components to it? If you're just stealing someone's money, I guess that's not a hate crime. But yeah, all the government has to do is perceive. So someone like me committing any crime would be perceived as a hate crime by the gays, or a hate crime by minorities, or a hate crime by the government, right? So this is bullshit. It's what's being proposed in Canada is beyond illegal. It is beyond bullshit. It's beyond intelligent comprehension. But this is the way the world is going, and it's going to result in violence at every single level because it cannot be tolerated. It is not natural. Right? There's a natural order to things. When someone commits a crime, you arrest them, you try them, you determine their guilt or innocence, and if they're guilty, you punish them and send them to jail or kill them, depending on the nature of the crime. That's it. That's how nature works. It works very well. America existed 200 years, law and order based on those principles. Now, They're going to change everything up. You can get thrown in jail for any reason. They could make stuff up. Crime? Oh, okay, yeah, you're done. We're going to lock you up forever. You don't even have to commit a crime in Canada. The government just has to think you might commit a crime. How can you go about your daily life, invest in the country, invest in the world, raise children, do anything, always looking over your shoulder, wondering if you're going to be accused or the government thinks that you might? So a hate crime, if you're black, I guess you can't commit a hate crime. If you're white, all your crimes are hate. Right? So basically this policy is anti-white. And it's pro-immigration. It's pro-invasion. As far as I'm concerned, Justin Trudeau, Turd Hole, and Canada can fuck all the way off. But this fight is coming to America. The same concepts, folks. I listened to the retaliatory remarks of the LGB crowd because a city councilman said he identifies as a black lesbian woman. And they didn't like it. I thought it was fucking brilliant. He identifies as that. And they said, no, you're mocking us. And he said, you don't get to determine that. Nobody gets to tell the person making some ridiculous claim what gender they are, what color they are, what race they are, what their belief system is. Nothing. You can't challenge that based on your belief system. Yet they did. They got so pissed off. This is the fight we have. It is complete ignorance versus intelligence. It's civility versus incivility. It is terror versus law and order. It is government versus the people. And this is the nature of the battle and the fight we are in, SHTF style. It is going to get ugly, ugly, ugly. So I'm prepared. Daylight savings time is here. Great. And all you got to do to get your lines up here is hit the super chat button. But for now, folks, remember this name, Brad Raffensperger. I called him Rat Spermer or Rat Sperm Burger. Brad Raffensperger. A new report has come out. And his office, he was the, I believe, Secretary of State for the state of Georgia. They're now saying, you've committed a crime back in January of 2021. There was a phone call that Trump made down to Georgia, talked to them a little bit, and Rat Spermberger recorded the call, which was illegal, by the way. It was against the law. It was a civil or legal violation because Trump did not know the call was being recorded. Folks, we have lawlessness on the part of rhinos, on the part of Democrats, on the part of bureaucrats, on the part of all of these, shall we call them, protest groups. Whether they're Hamas protesters or LGB protesters or BLM protesters or anti-war protesters or climate change protesters, they all want to destroy artwork. They want to take out statues. They want to destroy law and order. They want to defund the police. We need in this country serious replacement of career judges, career attorneys, career statists, meaning people who want the state to be supreme. And that includes all of the communists. There is going to be a purge, in my opinion, that is coming, and it's coming very fast now. It is coming much quicker than I thought because of the call for violence on the part of the Democrat Biden regime. They do not like that Trump is winning in the polls. They hate it, folks. They hate it. And they are going to fight it the whole way. The whole way. Sunday Night Live. It feels good to be back in the studio. I took a couple of hours off. I just did work around the old bunker. When you live in a bunker, there's not a whole lot of room. So I had to do a little bit of rearranging, and worked out great. I hope you had a good weekend, but it is back to work tomorrow, which means you and I are back to work tonight, because chance favors the prepared mind. What do you want to talk about? It is up to you. It's your show. It is time to go. And I want to let everybody know that Joe Biden and the Democrats murdered civilians in Gaza. That's right. Let me tell you what happened, and then you can tell me. So Biden and the Democrats and Washington, D.C. wanted to do a humanitarian airdrop over Gaza. They want to do a humanitarian airdrop. So flying big giant planes and pushing cargo out, and it floats down on little parachutes, and the people get rice and beans. Yay! Well, 5 people were killed. Many others were severely injured because a parachute failed to open when they pushed the cargo out of the plane. It's unfucking believable, folks. I'm calling Biden a murderer for this. I'm saying the Democrats, murderers. Every last one. If I drove down the highway and saw a hungry person on the side of the road, and I took some frozen hamburger and lobbed it at them, and went, here you go, this will help out, hit him in the head and killed him, I'd be charged with murder. I'd be like, no, it was a humanitarian airdrop. And I dropped it right upside his head. This is what happened. They wanted to be nice. They dropped shit out of planes and killed people. How is that not murder? Well, my intention was nice. Well, yeah, when I chucked that 5-pound block of frozen beef at the non-existent, for example, only homeless person on the side of the road, I was just trying to be nice and get them some stuff that they needed. And, shit happens. Someone died because I wanted to be humanitarian. This is what we get. Now, the people of Gaza, or rather the Gaza government, they were pissed and said that the humanitarian effort was useless and it was, quote, flashy propaganda rather than a humanitarian service. Now, Al Jazeera reported that's what the Gaza government said. And I thought, you know what? I guess you can kill people with kindness. So remember that. WKRP in Gaza. Thank you, Heidi. And yes, got the Cash app. Thank you, Heidi, very much. I got some rest, feeling a little better, feeling charged up. Got my crack in there. Thank you, Jenny Jen, in, super Northern California for that. And then, of course, I got a bottle of scotch. We're all set. We are all set for a great 2-hour broadcast. 20 minutes into it. Let's keep on rolling. I tell you, civil war is coming, folks. What do you think? If it's not civil war, what is it? I know I used to call it partisan conflict. Partisan conflict. I get it. It's what it's going to be. Now, civil war means someone's trying to take over the government. Well, that's what we are in during the election season. The American system's great. We get to vote in new officers every 2, 4, and 6 years, or every 2 years, however you want to look at it. In that way, it's a civilized change in administration and government if the people want it. Well, politics has gotten very nasty. Politics has become violent, and it's going to become more violent. I'm waiting for literal fistfights. Literal fistfights in Congress. The F-bomb is being dropped all the time. 6-year-olds are flipping the president the bird. It's great. I love it. Bring it on. We got a whole lot of problems, folks. But who are we up against? We're not up against people that can learn, people that can think. The most intelligent among us, they claimed, are these Ivy League liberal fucksticks. And they aren't all that bright, folks. After 4 years, folks, this is liberal retardation on display. This is an indictment of liberal intelligentsia, the ivory-towered asswipes that want to tell you how to live your life. After 4 fucking years, they finally decided to drop their cerveza bug vaccine mandate. And they want people to wear face diapers, masks still. That's how retarded they are, folks. You think you're going to change their mind with logic and reason? I think our job, let's see, prep to action, get prepared, get all those items we need, and then wake up other people, participate in politics, not just voting, as we've discussed. There's so much more than voting. There's actually participating and making sure Democrats don't steal the election. There's canvassing and waking other people up. A lot of people volunteer, go door to door and hand out pamphlets. Bam, there you go. This is why you should vote Republican. 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 They get a lot of shit thrown in their face, but they're waking people up. As a very patriotic prepper, you and I are in a position to have a lot more information to share. Not just ridiculous talking points, but an actual message for them about freedom, liberty, and loving your country. Something we don't see from Washington, D.C. at all. Let's do this. We're at 260 and climbing viewers. We got a super chat donation out there somewhere. Let's get it on the board. Who's got something to say? It is Dan Erickson with a $10 super chat donation. And he says, hey, looks like I live in a very blue state, and 4 years ago there were Biden signs everywhere. Haven't seen any yet now. Voter remorse? Dan, that is a very well stated line and set of questions. It's fascinating. You live in a very blue state. I did not during the last election. But people where I'm at now said, we don't see a lot of Biden signs back in 2020. And so we're not expecting to see any now. But you live where there were everywhere Biden signs everywhere. And this time, we haven't seen any. Now, it is still early in the election, Dan. It's still early in the campaign season. But voter remorse is huge. The Biden regime, the intelligentsia of the Democrat Party, the Washington, D.C. snob mentality, they thought that you would be happy with Biden as president, and therefore you wouldn't look for any substance. Instead, we got higher housing prices, higher food prices, higher fuel prices. We got invaded by every country in the world that wants to send their shit to this state or this country, every state in it. They fucked the entire system up. And they think people are just going to forgive them. Well, they're not. In fact, this whole the primary vote, where people are withholding, they're undecided voters. They're voting undecided or not sure or whatever. They're writing in people. They're not happy with Biden at all. There is no way in hell. There's no excitement for Biden. In fact, Trump was in, I think, Georgia, had a huge rally. Biden's Georgia, he was in the same state, horrifyingly low. And when I say horrifying, if they can't fill a high school gymnasium, if a sitting president cannot fill a high school gymnasium, there is a serious problem. Trump is filling arenas and stadiums. It's just incredible. But that's exactly what happened back in 2020. So do not forget. Don't think it's over. Don't just go, oh, yeah, we got this one in the bag. You cannot let that happen again. We have to be involved. We have to be involved in waking people up, getting them out to vote, keeping an eye on the Democrats, getting involved in politics at the local level. That's where we matter. Look, if you can't control the whole state, you can't control the country or the state, but you can get active inside your voting district and make sure it is one of the ones that does its job and doesn't allow cheating and drop boxes and fucking delivery trucks full of ballots just backing up and dumping a bunch of fake ballots through the machines. 4 years ago, they did it. I don't think the excitement is there, Dan, for Biden. I really think the the commentator, the analyst with JP Morgan was absolutely correct that Biden is going to have to drop out. Super Tuesday was last week, and this analyst said sometime between Super Tuesday and, of course, the election, Biden's going to drop out and be replaced. The question is who, right? The would-be man, Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom, who can't fight his way out of a paper bag. There's no one, folks. Well, I mean, even Robert Kennedy Jr. Is an awful choice. He may be anti-Jim Jones juice and anti-COVID crap, but he is an awful Democrat. You can't spray perfume on a stack of shit 6 foot tall and expect it to smell like roses. All right. Thank you, Dan. Great topic. Keep an eye out on the signs, the campaign trail, the activity political. And you're in a blue state, but that doesn't mean, right? It doesn't mean that you can't be active and make a fucking difference. I just keep, when I run it, and I rarely run into liberals, but it's like, how is it a better world today than 4 years ago? Well, we don't have Trump in office. I said, how is it better? Right? Are you wealthier? Are you going to retire this year because of Biden? What did Biden do for you? What has Biden done for anyone? No one can answer that fucking question. Well, he's helping the illegals. I mean, he's helping the migrants. It's like, you just said illegals. They know they're fucking illegals. Anyways, let's keep on rolling. Seriously, let's roll on. We're 30 minutes into the show. Jolene, who is next? We've got Chin Music back with $9.99 super chat donation. Hit that super chat button. Get your question on screen. I'll make you famous. Thousands of people will be reading, listening, watching, etc. All right. Thank you, Jolene. Chin Music says, John, we need to send Chippendale dancers to canvas all the white suburban cat ladies. Oh, good golly, that is awful. That truly is awful. Oh, that is fucking awful. What he's referring to are white liberal women, middle-class white liberal women. They tend to be the most liberal, the most easy to persuade. They tend to have some incredible amount of guilt, and they vote liberal. Why? Your husband goes out and works his ass off all day long. And folks, I know this sounds a little sexist, but these real housewives of Chicago and San Francisco and New York and Martha's Vineyard, and they for some reason, they hate themselves. They hate their culture. They hate their husband. They hate their country. They hate everything about us. And they're just so kind. They want to be so kind to everyone else. Well, be kind, but don't give the fucking country away. But yeah, what would happen if we sent Chippendale dancers? Hey, Chin, man, you work out. You're in good shape. You can show up wearing a banana hammock with some papers to hand out. Just like, hey, Chippendale dancers are for Trump. We work our asses off dancing as male dancers. We need to keep more of our money. This taxation is killing us. All this inflation is killing us. Right? That'd be some funny shit. Door-to-door Chippendale canvassers for the election. That is some awesome stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, the suburban, self-hating, self-loathing white women. And it's funny. I have read through a lot of news, and I'm just being honest. When I hear and read, rather, men and women harpooning these liberal white women. Here they are. Go ahead, vote for Biden, vote for Democrats, and see how long that suburban house stays in your name. Eventually, that suburban neighborhood is going to be full of illegals. Like in California, they're actually making it mandatory that illegals with no job, no credit, no bank account, no money at all, no source of income are guaranteed loans. As if they could make the fucking payment. And do they get 15, 18, 21% loans like the rest of us Americans, or do they get a special deal? They can't even make fucking principal payments, much less the 10%. Crazy business. Now we're moving on. We got Darcy T checking in with a $50 super chat donation. And here we go. There it is, Darcy. Glenn Levitt, 15-year. This is the number 2 for the day. You're going to keep me well lubricated here. Make sure the tongue works. Thank you, Darcy T, very much for the great super chat donation. Down the hatch, Semper Fi, Prost. Wow, that is like mother's milk. Wow. So Darcy T has this to say. She says, good evening, John. No question tonight. Just some dough for the coffers. Well, thank you, Darcy, for that. I appreciate it. If you change your mind, send a question down there to Jolene and Uman. Something may occur to you. The door is always open. Thank you for that great super chat donation that keeps the lights on. It keeps tuna fish and Spam in the pantry. And it also, of course, keeps me well stocked with scotch. Folks, when it gets nasty, whether you're vodka, tequila, scotch, whiskey, bourbon, doesn't matter. Having alcohol is going to be important. Vodka is probably the most useful of all of them because of its nature. It's a great mouthwash, antiseptic, sterilizing agent, as well as a friendly liquid. Good to make friends with. Anyways, speaking of being overly friendly, people have had it with trans testicles. That's right. In women's golf, they've had a rule change. They're banning trans men from golfing on the women's tour. And I say, good. If you were born with a dick, you cannot compete against women because you are not a woman. Whether you're going to have your dick cut off or you recently had your dick cut off or you had your dick cut off a long time ago, you're still not a woman. You just cut your dick off. But good for golfers, good for women who have had enough of this stupid shit. Okay. Jolene, who's up next? Super chat donation. What are we going to talk about? It is Boomer21 out of Canada with a $20 super chat donation. He says this: what better way to enforce new world order mandates than to get the 10 million plus illegal border jumpers to do it by making them law enforcement officers, LEOs, via the government hiring practices. This was being talked about. This is continuing to be talked about. Illegals coming into our country illegally. They show up violating the law. Their very first act upon stepping on American soil is to violate our law. And we're going to trust them to be law enforcement? We have enough fucking hypocrites in law enforcement and government already. But it is true. This is what they want to do. They want to say, oh, this is your path to citizenship. If they can't read or speak English, how the fuck are they going to learn American law? How are they going to learn about the Constitution? Right? The Bill of Rights, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on and so forth. All of our constitutional rights. If they cannot understand English, if they can't speak it, if they can't write it, if they can't read it, how are they going to learn American history, American jurisprudence? But hey, they'll just give them a fucking gun and a badge. And yeah, what better way to enforce unconstitutional, New World Order, World Economic Forum, anti-human laws that want you to eat bugs. They want you to give up your money. They want you to abandon your rights. They want you to give up all your property. You will own nothing and you'll like it. And here comes some people who don't even speak your language to throw your ass in jail. There's no, folks. There's no way out of this without violence. Now, Boomer, I know you're up in Canada. Man, I pray to God that they don't arrest you because they're afraid that someday you might commit a hate crime because you're a white male. Probably have a Christian background too. You're not a Buddhist? You're not a Muslim? Oh yeah, you're definitely capable. Let's see, a male, white, a Christian, born in Canada. So yeah, you're definitely on the watch list, brother. Anyways, as far as I'm concerned, fuck you, Trudeau, and all of Parliament in Canada. Get your shit straight. But hey, the country of Canada, or rather the government of Canada. I love the idea of what Canada is, folks. The Great White North, fucking cold as fuck up there. The coldest parts of the United States are warm compared to the warmest parts, anyways, of Canada. Canada's awesome. Mining, farming. It's a real country that has to produce real things. But down in the cities, look out. They've been taken over. Your government, Boomer, hates you just as much as mine hates me and everyone on this channel. We're up to 320 live on the Prepared Mind channel. Share that video address right there. Hit the thumbs up. Do it now. Doesn't cost you a fucking thing. Hit that thumbs up and then recommend. Share that internet address. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button. Now, let's put Boomer back up. I got one more thing. One more thing for you, Boomer. Unless it got erased. Your government hates you. So that's why they need non-citizen enforcement to force you to accept laws like, well, the government's afraid that you might commit a hate crime. We're going to lock you in jail forever. Now, the Biden campaign in America, so pay attention even in Canada. If they're doing it in Canada, they'll do it in America. If they're doing it in America, they'll do it in England. So look out, Steve Conlon, all of our brothers in Scotland, Ireland, and England. If they can do it to us, they'll do it to you. And if they're doing it to you over there, they're going to come over here and do it to us. Biden's campaign has released an advertisement comparing Trump and all of you, me, us. This ad compares Trump and his supporters to the Ku Klux Klan. That's right, folks. They're comparing us to the Klan. Folks, the Klan is comprised of Democrats. And I'm not just making that shit up. The Democrats are the Ku Klux Klan. The Democrats were against equal rights for blacks. In the 1960s, the civil rights movement was supported and created by Republicans. The Democrats were against it. Robert Byrd died a few years back. He was the Grand High Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, a Democrat. And they held a huge ceremony, a "We love you." Hillary Clinton was there. They're the fucking racists. They're the Ku Klux Klan, not me and you. Joe Biden, racist, sack of shit. Fuck you, Joe. Calling us the equivalent or like the Klan. It's disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. How can I be the bad guy after listening to what the President of the United States has authorized to be said about me and you? Absolutely horrifying, folks. But that's how crazy the liberals are. To the very top. If they're that evil at the top, they're being given march orders, and then down in the streets, folks, down at the grassroots level, there's going to be violence. Well, let's do this. Let's do another super chat donation / question. You guys hit that button up there and you get your name, comment, thoughts down below right here. What do we got, Jolene? We got Chin Music. Holy shit. Back with another Super Chat donation, $19.99. Gonna party like it's $19.99. But Chin says, John, in all seriousness, when I get the chance at debating a leftist housewife, I tell them the illegals aren't here to assimilate, and their culture is different. They will told what to do and win Final Jeopardy 2 times. And their cultures are different. They will told what to do and win Final Jeopardy 2 times. I'm a little confused on that last part of the sentence, but I'm going to follow the spirit of this. These liberals in this country believe that other people around the world are civilized when they absolutely are not. If they come from Central America, South America, those countries are freeing prisoners right now. They're emptying their fucking prisons, putting them on buses and sending them to our country. Not El Salvador, but I believe Venezuela is one of them. There's several countries doing that. People that are criminals in their country are coming here. They're not civilized. They're not going to go out and get a job. They're not going to assimilate and become American. That's what's going on in Europe. They've got all of these radical Muslim peoples. They have no desire to become Dutch or English or French or German. They'll rape all the women they can, of course. But they don't have any idea of assimilation. Their culture, their belief system, everything is different about them. They will not come to America to be American. But that's how fucking stupid they are. So yes, if you get to speak to a liberal housewife and you tell them that, do you think they'll change their mind? You could hum the Jeopardy tune and say, how can you expect somebody who doesn't know anything about freedom to love freedom? All they understand and know is criminal behavior. Because once again, their first act upon entering America is to violate our law. And then have the government let them get away with it. How is that in any way? How is that in any way good? It's not. They're not going to do any good. Now, I think what liberal housewives, liberal men need to see is more violence against them. And not on TV. It needs to happen in their neighborhoods. In other words, there's going to need to be violence against them before they fucking learn. But by the time they learn, it'll be too late because these people are already here. They've already dug their roots in. They've got hiding places and organizations that'll protect them and give them what they want. So when these liberals are being assaulted, home invasion robberies, raped, murdered, beaten, carjacked on a more frequent basis, they're going to figure it the fuck out. But by then, it's too late. As an American, a patriot, we need to be armed. And more states and more, how do we put this? More people are coming to the realization that that needs to happen. State governments have realized it. And by and large, more states have open carry, no license required, concealed carry. And they're saying Second Amendment. More sheriffs than ever are coming out and saying, hey, you need to protect yourself. We can't be there for you. Give it a few more months. Sheriffs out there in the more red counties and states will be saying you need to have neighborhood watch. You need to, as a community in different communities, look out for yourselves. They'll say things like, know who does and doesn't live there. So if you see suspicious activity, you can be aware and ready, and you can take action. Set up communication networks. They're going to help people get prepared, folks, instead of the old law enforcement thing, which is, we're here to protect you. You don't need a gun. We'll tell you what to do. Don't you dare look out for yourselves or we'll arrest you. It's going the other way now. It's going the other way now. Anyways, thank you, Chin Music. And Chin Music says, the final Jeopardy theme song starts playing as they consider the truth of the claim. Yes. Yes. You can almost hear it just echoing in their hollow heads, these leftist ding-dong liberal women who are consumed with guilt, and they think that by accepting and supporting all of these poor migrants and refugees, that somehow, I guess, they'll feel better about themselves. They've been told by the government that they should feel guilty. Look at how wealthy you are. Well, if you're busting your ass to make money and paying taxes while you do it, then it would make sense that you have something. And yeah, people from other countries don't. Why? Oh, yeah. Why is Venezuela? Why are Central and South American countries? Why are African nations? Why are Middle Eastern and Eastern nations? Why are the people so poor? Because government is corrupt. Government steals. Government jails people. Government murders people. Government makes business very difficult. Government punishes success. That's why they're poor. America has some protections in place against that. That's why you can become wealthy here. Well, they're going to fix that, right? They're going to fucking change that. Now here's some funny shit, everyone, folks. The average liberal is now a fanatical liberal. They're fanatics. Listen to this, folks. The New York Times is too soft on Trump, and the New York Times is too biased against Biden. Folks, these people are not on drugs. These liberals that think what I just told you, that the New York Times is too soft on Trump and they're biased against Biden, they're not on drugs. They actually believe that, and they are insane. And these are average, everyday, run-of-the-mill, on-the-street liberal fruitcakes. They are fanatics for anti-American destruction. How can they be any less? How can they be any harder on Trump? From advertisements that he is a white supremacist, he's a Nazi, he is the Ku Klux Klan, and us followers are all Nazi, KKK, white supremacists too. And that the New York Times is too biased against Biden, they're not on drugs. This is how they now think. This is their functioning. It's true. That's their functioning. It's not going to get better, folks. It isn't. They are that retarded. If they still think you should be wearing face diapers and that they finally decided to drop their vaccine mandates around the country, that's how woke they are. That's how stupid they are. It is unbelievable. Oh, good gosh. Okay, we are at 53 minutes, 54 minutes. Let's do a super chat donation. I know I want to get this one in and out. Bam! Who is out there? It is John with a $3 super sticker. John, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We'll go with this. I tell you what, in honor of John's $3 super sticker, I'm going to read some hilarious shit to you. Get your super chat donation in up here, and you can get your question, your comment. You can be thinking about history, modern politics. You can be thinking about, I'll get to you in 1 second, Mr. John. You have a prediction for the future. You have anything you want to talk about. It's your chance. So now let's see what Mr. Miskinnis has. If we shall, he says, yeah, sure, why not? 1, I saw Trump backdrop. That drew my eyes toward the notice that this live feed was taking place. Acronym, Jesus, just exists stagnating under surveillance. Yeah, I used the Trump thumbnail to frustrate liberals and excite Republicans at the momentum that's being developed. I tell you, thank you for showing up, John. Now, speaking of Trump and his campaigning, He had a liberal, socialist, communist, Democrat create an epic advertisement for Trump. I find that fascinating, amazing. Just fucking fascinating that a liberal would do Trump the favor of making an advertisement. The liberal described all the terrifying things. This was an influencer, a woke, dumbass, left-wing person went on the internet, and they've gone viral because this idiot described all the terrifying things that will happen if Trump gets back into the White House. You are going to fucking... It's great. Remember when I told you Trump needs he needs a contract with America. He needs a platform with a bunch of things listed out what he's going to do. So this idiot, and boy, this influencer looks like your typical retarded left-wing dipshit. You can just tell just by looking at him. Just by looking at him. Now, they say it's a guy, but I don't know if this influencer is a guy or a girl. I can't tell. I just can't fucking tell. And this is what he says. He says, Trump, remember, Trump promises he's going to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in history. I sure hope so. This liberal is afraid that Trump will ask for the death sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking. I think that's a great idea. If you're going to kidnap children or women and sell them as slaves, yeah, death sentence for you. This liberal fruitcake says Trump will close the Department of Education and return all education standards to the states. What a great idea. I love that. But that terrifies a socialist. Why? Because it takes all the centralized control and gives it back to people to decide for themselves. This person also, this idiot, says Trump will put prayer back into school and he will criminalize any race-based advantage program. I tell you what, folks, prayer in school I don't think is a bad idea, but you can't force that on anyone. If you're taking all federal government control out of the states, it's funny. He goes, he's gonna return all the power back to the states, but then he's gonna force them. You can't have it both ways, retard. But that's funny because a lot of people think prayer should be in school. As far as race-based advantage programs, in order to give one race an advantage, you have to discriminate negatively towards another. I thought discrimination was a bad thing. That's what I thought. Now, he will end the Affordable Care Act. That's Obamacare. Every time I turn around, there's nothing affordable about it. End that motherfucker. This fruitcake left-wing idiot says Trump will ban gender-affirming care for adults and children. And he will ban federal dollars from going towards gender-affirming care. Good. The federal government should not be involved in supporting, funding, and encouraging self-mutilation. Now, I do agree with many, many people on this channel who say, you know what, let them take themselves out of the gene pool. Let them kill themselves. Let them cut their own dicks off. Let them sterilize themselves. My one problem with that, folks, is that's a sign of mental illness, and the mental ill should not be allowed to vote. They're mentally fucking ill. They are not an informed, intelligent voter. Number two, these left-wing fruitcakes that cut off their genitals, mutilate themselves, and take hormone drug replacement chemicals. How many of them have to become violent, murderous, mass murdering, racist, anti-Christian, anti-white, anti-children, anti-adult killers before we realize that they're creating monsters? Get this, right? Anyways, I'm going to stop right there with everything this fruitcake says Trump is going to do. What I find fascinating is that everything this idiot said can be used as a campaign for Trump. He made a commercial showing us what these fruitcakes are terrified of. I think it's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. that they're so afraid, so paranoid, so fucking stupid, they make the case for us. All right, Jolene Uman sent a message on through. And before I get to the next super chat donation from you guys, button's right up there. Your questions and thoughts, predictions, prognostications. Hey, if you've got a fear, put it up here. Let's talk about your fears. I'm not afraid to talk about things that I'm afraid of. You know what I'm afraid of? BLM walking the streets of America with bullhorns, torches, threatening people again. That scares me because it's going to cause massive amounts of violence and loss of life and property. But it's coming. That's a fear of mine. Now, Robert De Niro, the esteemed actor, guess what? He fears Trump winning the election also. Now, he was a big fuck Trumper, Robert De Niro. He really felt like America should listen to him. He's just an actor. Okay, Mr. De Niro, act like you're mad. Okay, Mr. De Niro, act confused. Okay, Mr. De Niro, act happy. I mean, talk about a rough life having to act. If I'm here, I'm actually here, and I'm pissed off at these fucking idiots. But this is what De Niro fears, folks. Speaking of Trump, Robert De Niro says if he gets elected, he'll come looking for me. He's got to be stopped. That's fucking hilarious. De Niro thinks Trump is going to be looking for him. He thinks that Trump has it out for him. He thinks that Trump cares. Trump doesn't give a fuck about De Niro. De Niro's a self-involved asshat. Who cares about Robert De Niro? This is, though, it's indicative, though, of how the Democrat liberal mind works. They actually believe that anything Trump does is directed right at them. If they hear someone speaking on the internet or in public, they think that person is personally attacking them. Now, if someone is standing on a street corner screaming about Trump supporters and saying they're all Nazis and everything, that person's screaming about I don't care. I heard it. Is he talking about me? No, not really, because he doesn't know who I am. He could look and point right at me and go, "You support Trump, you're an evil bastard, rah, rah, rah." I'd be like, dude, you're not even talking to me because you don't know who I am. But these people put themselves into the world of politics and believe Trump wants to kill them or lock them up. When it's the Democrats who say, we're going to lock you guys up. That's what they say, folks. That's what they think. They want to lock us up. Re-education camps, death camps. We're deplorables. You bet, folks. You bet. And Robert De Niro thinks it's all about him. He really thinks he's that important. All these liberals think that it's about them. It's not. It's not. They think, but they think that. They really do. And it's just going to get worse. It's going to get uglier. It's going to get violent. You're going to love this one. You're going to love this one. Wait till you hear about this. Joe Biden says he regrets calling Lachlan Riley's killer an illegal immigrant. He called the murderer, the illegally here murderer, an illegal immigrant during the State of the Union address. The president called a murderer an illegal immigrant because that's what he is. And he got chastised by none other than Nancy Pants Pelosi. Nancy the Wino Pelosi. Unbelievable. And also Ilhan Omar and others criticized him for calling him illegal. And then Joe Biden now kind of goes back and he regrets calling her murderer. An American citizen, an American was murdered by an illegal that Joe Biden let in. And his response is, "Oh, I regret that." And he says, quote, "I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect." Disrespect, folks. Like the illegals that beat the shit out of 2 NYPD and then flipped off cameras. The illegals at the border that flip off cameras as they come across and tell us, hey, we're here to take all your shit. And he says he's not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. He is a sack of shit, Joe Biden. He disrespects the military, the taxpayers, the Constitution, the victims of his anti-American policies. He is a traitorous piece of shit. And he regrets calling a murderer what he is, an illegal immigrant. If that isn't enough to wake you up and see the insanity, then you've got problems. That's why I say share this internet address. Hit thumbs up. And also be sure and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. We've got to join together and fight back against these idiots, or we are doomed. Absolutely doomed. Okay. Sunday Night Live, and we've got what? Daylight savings. Unfucking believable. Folks, civil war has started. And this was incredible. The other day, the Attorney General for the state of New York, you know who I'm talking about? Letitia James. Letitia James. She was speaking to the Fire Department of New York, FDNY, speaking to them. And guess what? She started getting boos. Folks, civil war has started. Did you know that the people that booed the tyrannical political attack dog, the Attorney General, they're being ordered to surrender? What? Or risk being hunted down. This is not the Gestapo or the Stasi. This is New York Fire Department. They're ordering anybody who made any sort of negative comment to turn themselves in, or they're going to be hunted down. Is there an investigative division of the FDNY? Is there an investigative division that looks into its own people to make sure they've got their minds straight? See, it starts in the government with, if you don't believe what I believe, we're going to kick you out of your government job. So they only hire in the government left-wing lunatics to fill the bureaucracy. They've done the same with the fire departments and the police departments. You don't get promoted and you don't get put in positions of authority unless you are part of their team, the Democrat big government team. And as time has gone, they become more and more liberal, more and more socialist, more and more dangerous, to the point where they tell their own workers, we're going to hunt you down. You're going to be punished, and you're going to have to go to re-education. Re-education? This is unbelievable, folks. Number one, Letitia James is a sack of lying shit, and she politically attacked and prosecuted Trump. But she doesn't like being protested. She doesn't like it when someone, gives her a hard time. Number two, nobody has to submit to a punishment or political re-education. If you're in the New York Fire Department, quit. Leave. Go work where you're appreciated. And fuck New York City and the state of New York, as far as I'm concerned. These people are nuts, folks. Nuts. New York City will support all kinds of liberal shit that gets shoved down the rest of the state of New York. Everything upstate New York has to play by New York City's state rules. So if you get a fruitcake that wants to show up in some rural town and push bullshit New York laws down your town, your school, they want drag queens in your rural New York school, teaching children, reading books, handing out pedophilia in the library, no problem, right? Screw New York and New York City. They're fucked. And number three, it is civil war right now, folks. It's just no bullets being traded. It goes in this order. It goes, words are used to differentiate between me and you. We have words. You have ideas, I have ideas. Not me and you out here on the Prepared Mind Network, but see, me and you versus out there. Me and you versus liberals in the real, out in the real world. But they aren't using real thought. They're using fake fantasy thoughts in the real world. Now, starts with words. We use words to deal with them. That doesn't help. Then we go to fucking insults, lawsuits, and then come the bullets. I never thought there'd be a lawsuit against someone like Trump. Period. They're using lawsuits to persecute their political enemies. We are at the lawsuit phase, folks, where they're trying to stop a presidential candidate by suing him and suing him and suing him, civilly, criminally, etc. Is there any doubt we're in a fucking civil war? The liberals can't defeat us with intelligent thought. They couldn't convince us that we're bad by calling us names because we wouldn't accept their political correct horse shit. And so they need laws and lawsuits. They want to lock you up because they think you might commit some hate crime, right, Canada? They want to have you quit or lose your job. You'll be hunted down and punished if you disrespect liberal leadership. We're in the lawsuit phase, folks, where government punishes its own people and tries punishing us and tries making laws so that we can't be who we are. Unfucking believable. All right, it is time. I need more super chat donations right here on the screen. Jolene, where are we going? We got Boomer is back with another $10 super chat donation. And he says, if this would be early 20th or late 19th century, Brandon would have been charged for high treason. Oh, absolutely correct. Folks, the 19th century was the 1800s. The 20th century was the 1900s. So what he's saying here is the late 1800s, early 1900s, what Biden has done is treason. He's opened up the border and allowed the country to be flooded. Now, we've had a lot of mass migrations to America. A lot of mass migrations of Italians, Germans, and Irish. There have been times when the Swedes have migrated. Yes, there have. That. There's been a lot of other countries, but those are some big ones. Chinese, Japanese also. But when they came, they went through the proper channels in a civilized, organized manner that followed the rule of law. Biden has committed treason against this country. He's violated his oath, and he's committed treason. He's damaging this country. He won't even call a murderous criminal what he is, an illegal alien. He wants to give them respect while disrespecting people who are being killed. Now Locke and Riley, folks. Locke and Riley is not the first or the only person murdered by these illegals. They are assaulting women. They are raping women. They are killing men. They are doing home invasion robberies. They are raping children. They are kidnapping children. They are repeated offenders who have been kicked out of the country and they come right back in. We need President Trump, folks. I'm not the biggest advocate of Trump. I don't think he's the savior. I just think he is the only one running for president who is going to do any fucking thing to help this country. And whether or not Trump wins, and I'm going to assume Trump wins because we're all going to bust our ass. We're going to vote. We're going to participate in the political system. Even when Trump wins, we're going to have massive violence. We're going to have between 10 and 15 illegals here, 10 and 15 million illegals that don't want to be sent home, that don't want to be kicked out. Most of them are going to be caught kicking and screaming, fighting and shooting on their way back out. What are we going to do? And I have made the joke about launching them over the wall with fucking catapults. You're going to push them through the wall and off a bridge into the fucking river and say, stay the fuck out. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it needs to happen. putting them on fucking planes. If Joe Biden can fly, what I did the number, it was like 600 flights from Venezuela all the way to America to bypass the border, then we can send him back out of this fucking country. Ask him, what country are you from? I'm from Venezuela. Good. You just get on that fucking plane over there with a big V on it. You're out. You're from Libya? You're from Egypt? You're from Jordan? Yeah. You're out. You're gone. You're done. You're from Guatemala? You're from Mexico? Gone. That's what needs to happen. High treason. And that's just one item, Boomer. You and I know. That's just one item out of dozens that a lot of people consider to be treason. Thank you again for your great support, Boomer. I can't do it without you guys. Without your super chat donations, and Sunday Night Live would not be the same without your questions right down here. That's the only way this channel works, folks, is your guys' support. Now, I tell you what, the news media provides us with unending, ample supplies of examples of why the world is falling apart. Now, this is all being done on purpose, by the way. Biden isn't accidentally doing what he's doing. What do you think? Is Biden doing this on purpose, or is he just a bleeding heart liberal and he just thinks he's doing good? Super chat button, let me know what you think. The Democrats know what they're doing? I want to know what you think. Do everyday run-of-the-mill liberals, do they have any idea what's happening? Are they intentionally trying to destroy America? Or are they just so politically naive and stupid that they'll support anyone as a Democrat because they believe once you decided to be part of a political party, you can't go back. You can't change. I mean, how bad is Trump that these people listen to him and like, oh my God, it's Trump. I don't get it. He's just a guy who loves America. Well, anyways, folks, the stupid will continue until the violence begins. And then when the violence begins, stand back because the stupid will go off the hook. I want to give you an example of how government is supporting the destruction of the city, state, and country that people live in. And it is truly, folks, to serve the World Economic Forum. You ask the question, who benefits? Biden is not going to benefit from having 15 million illegals here. No, it'll benefit the political movement they've created, which is the destruction of the country. But they won't personally benefit. Yeah, he's getting paid to sell us out and sell us down the river. That's what they're getting paid to do. But it's to truly benefit the World Economic Forum and the central bankers and the Federal Reserve Bank. That's what this is about. So they'll continue to destroy everyone and silence any opposition. Now get this. There is an Iranian in London. And I'll tell you what, this Iranian I like. His name is Niak Gorbanil. It's a hell of a rough name to try and pronounce. I probably got it wrong. But Niak Gorbanil, guess what he did? He was detained. That means arrested. I don't know if he was let go, but he is an opposition activist. And he showed up holding a sign at an anti-Israel protest in London. But he's not protesting against London or against Israel. He's protesting against Hamas. And he held up a sign, said, Hamas are terrorists. So he was arrested. So much for free speech. Now, was Niak Gorbanil, was he upsetting other terrorists? Probably. I'm sure all the other terrorists were very upset with him. How dare you say anything against us? Can't you see we're the correct terrorist group? Not that all Iranians are terrorists. In fact, all the Iranians I've ever met are wonderful people. But the people that are not in America, that are back in Iran, they seem to have a couple of fucking screws loose. Now, government is telling some people, you can talk. Go over there and make a ton of noise about Gaza, Palestine, Hamas, Israel, and the need to kill all Jews. Go ahead, you guys go. You kill all the Jews people. You go over there, you're fine. Anyone else want to say anything? You're getting arrested. That is the government selecting what free speech is acceptable and what isn't. That's the government trying to determine who is right and wrong. Government doesn't get to decide what political speech is right and wrong and what's accepted and not. But here we are, folks. And if they are doing that, what does that say about the state of all political systems? It says we're heading to massive conflict in every country on every continent. What do you think? Hit that super chat button. Tell me your thoughts. And I'm now going to share with you an awful condition that's developed. It has to do with the nation of Haiti. It's an island nation. Haiti is failing. What was that movie called, Uman? Washington has fallen, or America has fallen, whatever, right? The Washington, D.C. taken over by Chinese terrorists who shoot their, right? Haiti is collapsing. Haiti's done. Haiti is finished. The Minister of the Interior, or the Interior Ministry rather, not a person, but the building, was set on fire. The presidential palace is under attack from these rebels, folks. And Prime Minister Henry, who we last heard was in the Dominican Republic. No. I'm sorry, Puerto Rico. Prime Minister Henry, he is facing pressure to resign. You bet he's facing pressure to resign. He's not doing anything. Is this, folks, a natural reaction to corrupt government? That the people, remember their leader, the opposition leader here, is a gangster named Barbecue. A gangster named Barbecue. Maybe the CIA can help the situation by sending, well, they can go to Ukraine and get Zelensky and ask him to be the Haitian president. He'll fix all their problems. You see, this is typically what the CIA does, is they go into a country that they want to take over because it has natural resources. They fire up, they stir up political protest against the current leadership, current government. And then they help overthrow it by supplying arms and training and technique to people to throw over the government. But what has happened lately? What are we seeing? Folks, understand that that's the old way the CIA did business. And it's still the way they do business today. But in countries like Niger, a rebellious military organization came in and threw out the Nigerian government, and it became the government. Said, no, that other government was just here to fleece the people, steal our resources and money, and export it to countries like, well, Switzerland, the World Economic Forum, the European Union, the United States government. They're the ones benefiting from control of Niger. So Niger said no more. Now Haiti, folks, conversely, does not have natural resources like Niger. Niger is rich in fuel, oil, gas, uranium. It's an incredibly abundant mineralized nation. So you can guess why the World Economic Forum and the bankers won it. But Haiti, I don't think that this is the CIA. I mean, it could be, but why would they want Haiti? It's a shithole. But I think the Haitian people have had enough of what little wealth they generate in their country, having it stolen and then being treated like shit. And the Haitian police, the Haitian military, those that are still loyal to the current government, which doesn't exist because they've fled the country, they're fighting in the streets. Crazy business, folks. Could that happen to America? Could our cities become taken over by, well, warlords, whether they're gangsters or, even patriotic Americans who have said, you know what? We're tired of the government the way it's operating. We're kicking them out and we'll just live on our own. Oh, it's going to be a fucking mess, folks. I sure hope you're prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and means of self-defense. I tell you what. Okay, Jolene, who's up next? We're going to do a super chat. We're at 350 people live, and it is Nelson Garcia showing up with a $49.99 super chat donation, and that'll get a 15-year Glenlivet right into this glass. I'm going to fill it right up to the bullet level, Nelson, and I want to thank you for your great support. $50 super chat does a single malt scotch. And by golly, I was getting a little dry there. Getting a little dry. Whoops, wrong one. This is the one right here. Thank you, Nelson. Oh, so smooth. Woo! And just great. Nelson says, John, what do you think of Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade? That's fat ass Fannie. For Willis and Nathan Wade. They asked Nathan Wade, when did you start your relationship with each other? Somehow he forgot. Remind me of... I tell you what, this whole Nathan Wade and Fannie Willis, fat ass, they have lied about their relationship even existing. When they couldn't deny that anymore, then they lied about when it started. They lied about the nature of their relationship. They lied about all of the money. And it turns out every time they come up with a new lie where they admit something and they back up, they're like, but that's it. That's all that happened. That's the folks, thousands and thousands and thousands of texts. Trip after trip after trip using taxpayer money. Gifts being bought for fat ass Fannie. By the way, Nathan Wade was married and fat ass Fannie didn't care. She's a homewrecker with her power. Right? And she decided that she's going to go after Trump and Trump's administration and Trump's lawyers. And I am disgusted with the lawyers that copped a plea and admitted guilt to the false bullshit accusations coming from a fucking lying sack of shit like fat ass Fannie, who has committed perjury and violated the ethics codes of attorneys and prosecutors and government officials. And yet she's still allowed to show her face in court. Unbelievable, folks. They forget everything. I'll remind you of everything I can about these people. If they'll lie about anything, they'll lie about everything. They're Democrats. The only thing that matters to them is stopping Trump, hurting Trump. Just like Letitia James. She wants all the money out of Trump she can get. Every lawsuit, they're going to go after Trump. They're going to take his business license. They're going to destroy his business. They're going to destroy his name. They're going to destroy his wealth. That's what they're about, folks. The Democrat Party is about destruction and death. They are the cult of death. They're the cult of destruction. Just like the World Economic Forum wants. They want to destroy everything and create a dystopian, two-tiered, neo-feudal socialist state where you and me are poor and they're extremely wealthy and they control all the resources, all the assets on the planet. And nations don't exist. They want globalism and they want nations destroyed so that it's all about business. Good, clean business. Yeah, my ass. Clean my ass. Not even close to being clean. Unbelievable. All right. Thank you, Mr. Garcia, very much for the great donation. Folks, without you guys, channel doesn't exist. Without you guys, I'm working 7 days a week. As it is, I work 6 days a week. But without you guys here, Prepared Mind's done. I need you and your support. I need you to share the internet address, to share it with friends and family out there. They need to wake up. See, it's not just getting them onto this channel. It's getting them onto every channel to find someone who appeals to them. I don't appeal to everybody. I'm kind of coarse, like sandpaper. I just rub some people wrong. Other people like me, and that's great. As long as they get into the patriot pro-America social media system, we're good. We really are, folks. We're good that way. Jolene, who is next on the Prepared Mind channel? Oh, Nelson Garcia says, reminds me of Bill Clinton, same thing. Trump got fined millions of dollars, no evidence. Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton, he got away with everything. I mean, he did get impeached, but that's because he lied in court, perjury. Right? Trump got fined millions of dollars, folks, hundreds of millions of dollars now. They're going after the entire Trump estate, Trump wealth. They're trying to destroy. And folks, what does this tell other people? Well, it tells other wealthy people, don't you dare stand up to the federal government. Don't you dare stand up to the deep state. Don't you dare stand up to anyone, including little Gretchen, the climate Grinch. How dare you? Remember, she actually went to the World Economic Forum and said that to them. How dare you, little dipshit. This is incredible. By the way, we're at 90 minutes on this Sunday Night Live. Woo! It's been one hell of a zoo. But yeah, they don't care. Bill Clinton got away with murder. Bill Clinton got away with lying. Bill Clinton got away with rape. There were many people who said he raped him. He sexually assaulted him. Same with Joe Biden. Getting away with it. Trump is accused of so-called sexual harassment, sexual assault, or rape by a woman with absolutely no evidence, who is a pronounced and easily visible lunatic, who never told anyone, friends, family, police, nobody, about this so-called sexual assault / rape years and years ago, and she lied on the stand, and they still fined Trump incredible amounts of money. $83 million for her, right? Jean Carroll. Crazy shit. What's the country we live in? It is. All right, Jolene, who is next? We've got Blue Cord Devil. Woo! Yikes to the yikes. Here we go. The last 30 minutes of the show. I think you guys are going to put a hurt on this bottle. Now, remember, I got to work tomorrow a little bit at least. But here we go. They always ask me Monday morning, why are you're supposed to drink Saturday night, Friday night. Why do you drink Sunday night? I go, well, because people are generous and they know that I love scotch. And this is good medicine for me. This is way better than, well, anything made by Moderna or AstraZeneca or Johnson & Johnson or Pfizer. Jet fuel for the mind. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil. Woo! Semper Fi, man. He says, here is an idea for deportation if their home country has ocean front. Have the Navy drop them there a mile out from shore. If their country is inland or landlocked, have the Air Force and Army give them airborne training. Nope, no airborne training at all. You know what? I mean, I know what you're saying, man. You're just trying to help people get home. You're rougher than me, Blue Cord Devil. I would say get an LCAC. It's a giant Navy ship that can, or am I talking about a LCAC hovercraft? Goes up to the beach and they can just push them all out. You know, I don't want to drown these people. I just want to send them home. I don't want to spend the money training them either. Fuck, that's all we need to do is teach them how to jump out of planes with parachutes. Then they'll be just like fucking Hamas that wanted to parachute in to Israel, take hostages, kill babies, rape women, take hostages, kill old people, and have a successful military mission. Nope. I don't want to do that. I say put them on a cargo net, lift the cargo net up with helicopters or Osprey planes, fly them into the country, set them on the ground gently, and leave them. If their country's landlocked, do it. If they have an ocean front, put them up right on the beach. Get them out. Get out of our country. I like the idea, though. Give them airborne training. The airborne training is strapping a parachute to them, tying the ring off on the catch, and pushing him out the back. You know, they'll get a few feet out the door, the rope yanks their parachute, pops it, and down they go. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil. That's great. Hey, it'd be great training for our military. In fact, how many? I'm gonna run with this, Blue Cord Devil. This is fucking great. How many corn-fed American young men, whether they're white, black, brown, don't fucking matter. How many real patriotic young men would sign up in the military knowing that their duty was going to be to get these illegals out of the fucking country? I think people would enlist by the droves. Man, it'd be like my job in the Navy. It's going to be, right, we could build ships, create jobs, use tax dollars to build these ships rather than giving those tax dollars to these immigrants. I'm sorry, they're not immigrants. These illegal invaders. Put them on these ships and send them back home. I think that's brilliant. I do. And I don't want to starve them. We can give them rice cakes. You bet we can give them rice cakes. Well, flavored rice cakes. Apple cinnamon for breakfast. Popcorn for lunch. Top ramen beef or chicken flavor for dinner. Give them some nice rice cakes. Send them home. Fucking brilliant. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Good stuff. Okay. Thanks, Blue Cord Devil. Who is next? That Scotch is getting to me. We got Davey D checking in. Woo! With a 357. I'm sorry, a 3570. He said 357 Marlin lever. First cowboy gun next month. Smith & Wesson Classic Model 19. Oh, my God, man. I tell you what, the Marlin lever action, they make a good lever action. I love the 357. I think it's great. You're shooting a handgun round out of a rifle. Now, not that the 30-30 isn't a great round. I know a lot of people think, it's underpowered. Well, you know, there's a reason that the Winchester lever action, right, was so famous. And Marlin made a very good version, beefy version of it. Great cowboy gun. And then he's saying next month, Smith & Wesson Classic Model 19 in 357. Right there, man. The Model 19 was used by police for a long time. They also had the Model 27, I think, which was quite a bit more expensive. I myself have my grandfather's Smith & Wesson Highway Patrol model, which is kind of like the discount Model 27. Anyways, you're going to love that Smith & Wesson, man. It's great. Good stuff. And I love the 357 round. What you're talking about here, Davey, what you're talking about is self-defense. You have got to be prepared, folks. Got to be. I'm going to have to share with you my preferred toys. One of these days coming soon, I'm going to have to break out my airsoft toys to talk to you guys and show you what we got rolling. What is necessary for true self-defense. Now, the lever action rifle, fucking great. It's repeating. A lot of people think you've got to have an automatic, right? Nope, you can have a revolver for self-defense, everyday carry, or for shit it's the fan. Now, obviously, if you've got a large crowd or you're confronting a group that is taking tactical advantage in position trying to get to you, having 30-round standard capacity magazines is a good thing. But if you're being threatened by criminals, gangs, thugs, having more than one person with you is great. Now, what I like about the mentality of something like the lever action rifle or a bolt action rifle is it causes people to slow down. Now, cover fire, very important. Suppression fire, very important for dealing with a combat situation. But if you've got a lever or a bolt action, you're not going to be firing all that fast. So you're going to have a different mindset. You're going to chamber around. You're going to be in the position, right? I'm looking for targets. I'm looking for contact. And you're going to take your time with the shot, and you will be more effective. Many. That's why, folks, military guns actually come semi-automatic. And then they had the 5-round and 3-round burst models. Now I think we've gone back to just full auto. Either you're going to just blow through ammo with suppression and cover fire, or you're going to put it on one shot, one kill. Right? You got one shot. Take it, make it count. And that's why I like lever action guns and bolt action, because you've got one shot. You're not just going to depress the trigger and just dump a magazine out there. Not that there aren't times and places for doing just that. Now, beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful stuff. Thank you, Davey D. Great donation. Who is next? We got more coming? I think we do. Anyway, Semper Fi, Davey D. All right, I've got, well, I tell you what, Joe Biden was at his Atlanta rally. He was at his Atlanta rally that no one really attended, while Trump was filling a massive station. And folks, listen, Trump, best bet America has to get our country back. There will be violence. There will be violence. It's coming. But at Joe's Atlanta rally, he didn't have thousands of screaming supporters. He had a few people in attendance, but a protester showed up. That's right, folks. A protester showed up to Biden's Atlanta rally and started screaming and calling him Genocide Joe. Remember when Democrats used to think free speech was king? Protesters had to be allowed to scream and yell, and you couldn't do anything about them, yada, yada, yada. Now they don't like them. They're arresting Republicans, right? Or detaining them or kicking them out. But this is Democrats going after Democrats now, because Joe Biden really isn't even a Democrat. He is a puppet and a stooge. He truly is a puppet and a stooge. 1 second. There we go. Yeah, he's a puppet. Right? When their policies don't appeal to anybody, and their policies in the Democrat Party and the World Economic Forum piss everyone off, it lets you know whose side they're really on. Joe is not really on the side of the illegal immigrants. He's not really on the side of Israel. He's not really on the side of Hamas. He's not really on the side of America, obviously. He's not on the side of anyone. He's on the side of selling out and destroying everything. And he's hoping that the entire Biden clan is going to be part of the in crowd, right? Part of the club, the big club that we're not going to be allowed in. I just think it's funny. I want to, just ask Joe, how do you cocksuckers like protesters now? People that jump up and scream and interrupt everything you're doing. It's incredible. Now, I find protesters annoying. I don't mind seeing people with signs, at courthouses or street corners, and they've got their thing that they're trying to let everyone know. Fine, beep, beep, nice message, thank you, move on. But I do have a huge problem when there's anti-American protesters in our country, protesting against our country, while benefiting from everything our country has that's been given to them. In fact, a shit pile of anti-Israel protesters were swarming on the World Trade Center like flies on shit. New York City, folks, this weekend, we had anti-Israel. That means pro-Hamas. See, I love it when they call them anti-Israel. They're not anti-Israel. They're pro-terror. And they don't like Jews. They don't like Israel. And they don't like any country that has ever supported them. That means they don't like Britain. They don't like Europe. They don't like America. But they're here. And they're there. And the World Trade Center is hallowed ground. Whether you believe that terrorists took over planes and caused all that damage, or whether you believe government terrorists put that false flag together. It doesn't matter. Either way, that is hallowed ground. Thousands of Americans and firemen and police were killed Those stinking jihadis need to be kicked out of there. You want to protest? Go to some other place. You're not going to protest and call for more destruction on ground where Americans died. All right, before I get too excited and pissed off there, Jolene, who is next? It is Bioxo77 with a $1.99 super chat donation. He says, hey, CO2, that's carbon dioxide. CO2 Humarex 50 caliber paintball revolver I recommend. I tell you what, CO2 is powered. Oh my God, Bioxo, you're destroying the planet. So what they do is they take CO2 and they put it in a little aluminum cylinder, and you can use that CO2 power to charge your beer, or you could use it to carbonate your beer. You could use it to press out whipped cream foam. You can use it for pellet pistols or paintball pistols. So Bioxo says, look into the Humarex 50 caliber paintball revolver. He recommends that. I'll tell you what I recommend. Fuck the paintballs. Go get one of those guns that shoots pepper balls. And by pepper ball, we mean the capsaicin, or the active ingredient in a jalapeno pepper. That's a pepper ball. Pepper spray. And you have a self-defense item that you don't need a license for. You can buy now, take home now, and you can carry it as a self-defense item. Asterisk here, see local state rules regarding self-defense and carrying these items. Make sure you speak to whoever in law enforcement, police or sheriff, to make sure what you're doing is legal. But if you can buy them without a waiting period, and they're inexpensive and they will help protect you and your family and others, I would not want to be hit by a paintball. That hurts. Especially a paintball that when it hits me, it's going to explode and put burning pepper spray all over me. But you can do whatever you can, folks. But get the training. Let's not train illegals on military tactics. But civilians, we should be training with handguns, shotguns, rifles, whether bolt or lever or semi-automatic. Get training. Learn to hit what you're aiming at. Learn to not be afraid of guns. Guns are your friend. Hey, when you call the cops, if there's a problem, what do? They show up with guns. Guns, folks, don't cause crimes. Guns solve problems. Now, if the bad person, right, the criminal, the terrorist, they'll use the gun to solve their problems. We need to use guns to solve our problems and bring about civility and niceness. Anyways, thank you, Bioxo, very much. We're rolling down to the last 10 minutes or so. This has been a great show. Lots of good stuff going on. And get this, folks. Trump was down in Miami, not to participate in all the idiocy for spring break. I read stories, just the idiot young people coming down from northern cities to party and start fighting. What a bunch of fucking idiots, right? America's dumbest, right, are out on spring break, whether they're going to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina or all the way down in Florida or Lake Havasu. They're just fucking morons now, really. They're showing their intelligence. Anyways, Trump did not go to the beach. Instead, he went to UFC 299. That's right, the Ultimate Fighter Championship. Trump has been attending these, folks, ever since, a long time. Trump liked World Wrestling Federation, even participated in one of their skits. But here he is. He showed up, and the arena, folks, went nuts. Huge chants of fuck Joe Biden erupted, folks. And Trump is a fighter. He's old. He's too old to be fighting in the ring, but he is a warrior, folks. And I am, it has woken me up. It's waking up America. And you and I, we need to wake up others. That we need someone who is going to fight for us to be a champion. It may not be perfect, but by golly, we need someone to fight these Democrats. We need to fight during the campaign and fight through the voting and fight to January 21st of 2025. That's right. January 21st of 2025 is when they're going to inaugurate the next president. Whether it's going to be Joe Biden or some other Democrat or Trump, we're going to find out. We need to find out, folks, because that's going to tell me and you whether we need to keep our magazines stacked in a good, safe, dry place or whether we need to get them out. The violence is coming, folks. It is. And I want to talk to you about Haiti one more time. The U.S. government has decided it's going to send United States Marines down to the American embassy in Haiti. Non-essential personnel, that's government people, government employees, have been evacuated. I'm really surprised. They didn't evacuate American personnel in Afghanistan. They left them there to fucking rot. So what's going on in Haiti? I don't like that they're sending Marines in. They're going to leave them in the chaos if that city gets just fucking overrun. Now, I understand that the Marines have a job, that the embassy is there as United States government representation. But we had issues in Benghazi, where Navy SEALs and special forces were left, they were abandoned, and they were killed. Will Biden allow these Marines to be overrun, to be outgunned, to be murdered? Remember when Hillary said, what difference does it make now what happened there? That's their attitude. Are we going to have more Marines killed in this chaos that's developing there? Folks, the whole world is ready. It seems like they're just wanting war. I've been talking about Turkey with you guys. Let's talk some Turkey. By the way, right, the 10-minute counter is down. If you want to get your comments up here, you have something to say, get your super chat donation in now, because we're going to run out of time, but this week's coming. But let's talk Turkey. I've been saying Turkey doesn't know whether it wants to be part of NATO or friends with Russia, but right now it's both. And it is a member of NATO. It's the second largest military in NATO, Turkey. And the first largest is America. So the biggest military in Europe is Turkey. Yet they have Russian air defense systems, they have Russian jets, they have Russian military equipment, as well as American military equipment. But Turkey, well, at least the president of Turkey, Mr. Erdogan, says that they back the Hamas terrorists. And they say that the leader of Israel is like Hitler. That's right. Mr. Netanyahu is like Hitler. Why doesn't any leader in Europe or America, why don't they condemn all the violence? It just seems like every country, every leader wants to pick a side. Like they all want war and they just want to pick a side that they think is going to win. Turkey doesn't realize they're within striking distance from Israel with nuclear missiles. I don't want to see a nuclear war, folks. Even a limited one between Israel and its enemies and the enemies of Israel firing on Israel. I don't want to see that. Yet it seems like it's coming. It seems like it's coming. Folks, from that big intercontinental ballistic nuclear war scenario down to the war we're fighting in our own homes, we have war and violence coming. I'm going to give you this one, folks. A legal fight, folks, has been triggered in the state of New Hampshire because a town, a little stupid city, is demanding that a group of people who meet for religious purposes, that they have to undergo a very intrusive and expensive permitting process before they can meet and discuss their religion. That's right, folks. Small town government launched a holy war on a pastor because he was home churching. You're not allowed to sit in your own home and discuss religion. Home churching is wrong. Home church. Government's not allowed to interfere. That's the First Amendment. It's called assembly. They're not in public, they're private. They're not on the street, they're in someone's home. Yet the government thinks it has a right to regulate that, to ask questions, to see if you pass their tests, to charge a fee. So, folks, I just want you to understand, if you want to penetrate someone's ass, anal sex in the United States Senate, no permit required, no crime committed. If you want to put satanic displays at the Capitol and light candles and worship Satan, no worry, no permit. But if you want to exercise your First Amendment natural God-given rights, government wants money and bureaucracy wants to fuck you. And so screw off New Hampshire. Folks, this is where it's coming to. Are you prepared for the violence? Are you prepared for the violence that's going to be coming? Whether they're coming after you for being a Republican or for being a Christian or for being white or for being black and not agreeing with the narrative coming out of D.C. Remember, Charles Barkley wants to punch out any black people that he sees that are Make America Great, supporters. He wants to punch them out. I tell you what, Brian Anthony Logan, Jericho Green, they went off on him over that. But it's coming, folks. It's going to be race, religion, culture, and law. It's going to be city, state, country, and world. They're going to drop a bomb on the whole system, folks. And it's coming. It is coming. Get this. It's going to continue to be a fight. Everything is going to be a fight. Right. Up in Michigan, folks, there's a sheriff. There's a sheriff up there who's attempting to investigate Muskegon County prosecutor, the Secretary of State, or is she the Attorney General, Dana Nessel, other high-profile figures like Jocelyn Benson, that they're tied to Dominion, voting, the fraud from 2020. Sheriff Dar Leaf is continuing to investigate the 2020 election. He's being stonewalled, and the county prosecutor is trying to take over his investigation. We're still trying to settle 2020's election, folks, and all the crime. And we're rolling up on 2024. If Trump doesn't win, there'll never be justice. If Trump wins, I wonder if they're going to get rid of a bunch of these liberals. Now, in the Senate and Congress, they're leaving, they're resigning. That doesn't mean they're immune from what they did as shall we say, participants in this sham. It's going to get nasty, folks. It really is. It's going to get nasty. We heard from former CIA Director John Brennan, the other day, who is an avowed communist and Muslim also, Muslim convert. That's right, this old white sack of shit Democrat. Right, hates America. Well, he said that they were going to withhold information from Trump this summer. And Adam Shifty shit his pants, bug-eyed, light in the loafers, fruitcake Schiff. He says, and is basically corroborating what John Brennan said, that the intelligence community is going to sabotage Trump, that they're going to withhold intelligence, and they're going to dumb down the daily briefing that presidential candidates get late in the summer prior to the election. The point of that is to bring whoever the presidential candidates are. Now Biden already being the president, even though he doesn't even know what he had for lunch, he knows, he's told what's going on. But Trump would be as well. He's already been president. So they want to dumb down the intelligence. That puts the nation at risk. They're sabotaging not Trump, but the nation. That's how dumb, fucking stupid these Democrats are, folks. Not to mention they're a bunch of butt pirates in D.C. There's no virtue there. There's no value to these people. We are in big, big trouble. I hope you're prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan. Are you prepared? I want to thank everybody for coming to the Prepared Mind channel. It's been fun. It's awesome. I love the zoo, but we got a long week ahead of us. I shouldn't have a big hangover, thankfully, but it's still going to be a hard work nonetheless. I pray you are prepared, that you share that internet address, that this change in time, right? This change in time, daylight savings, doesn't mess you up too bad. And I'll see you 0 dark 30 first thing tomorrow. Semper Fi. God bless America. You guys be cool, be safe.